We live now, y'all. All right, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Naisha Stone, the founder of Carving Stone, your weekly source of positive news. And tonight today we're doing something a little different. We're doing a virtual panel with our past scholarship recipients. Some of them, we have Hannah Wilson, Tyree Pope III, and we have Michael Snowden. And today they're going to share, why they applied for their scholarship, what they use the money for, and then just tips for you all on how to increase your chances of being selected. So honestly, I just kind of want to start off about like, how did y'all come across the scholarship and how did y'all feel about the process of, just applying overall? And it's open to anyone.
I could start. So I came across the scholarship basically through social media. Like I've seen some people that I know in the past that applied for the scholarship and had got it. So I was like, why not try it? Let's see what it was. The process was actually very simple, but it made me really think about like what I wanted to do. It was like, I'm the type of person who has like a bunch of projects going on at one time. And the one that I actually used for the application was this documentary that I've been working on called The F Word, really interviewing fathers and getting their perspective on fatherhood and what it means. And it's one of those growing films where as I am a father and like really deep into it, about a year and a half now, I'm learning that a lot goes into it. So really perfecting that and really asking the right questions. And then with the money that I got from the scholarship, I ended up buying computer parts. So one of the problems that I ran into was my computer couldn't handle the stuff that I wanted to do. So I ended up using the money and putting it towards building a PC that could handle like all of the video editing, all of any extra animation, graphics, without just, shutting down on me. And yeah, I kind of just rambled on. So
No, I love it. And I kind of want to back up though, because
sure.
So in order to apply for the scholarship, you have to be from Wisconsin. That's going to change in a few years. We're going to expand. But a lot of people miss out that you don't necessarily have to be a student. Hannah she is a student now and was a student then. And so we'll get to that. But the main point of the CNS scholarship is to support creatives. So Michael, when you applied, you specifically said, I do videography. And you showed 3 samples of your videography. And then what you submitted was, I need some equipment for my videography. So you had everything match up. And so a lot of times when people apply, they say, hey, I'm a journalist. And then they apply and then they submit 3 samples of fashion. And then now they saying they're using money for something else. So when you're applying for the scholarship, say what you do and show samples exactly of that. And then the money that you're using it for should kind of match up to what you're saying that you are. So if you say you're a baker, somewhere in the money should be used to support that baking dream, whether that is to pay rent at your commercial kitchen or whatever. But I have noticed over the years, it's 4 years now, and even currently, a lot of people, when they're applying, they say they're a creative or a certain creative, but then they submit samples that don't support that. So I appreciate you, for bringing that up, because that's the samples. Not only do we want to know what you use the money for, but we want to see that you already have experience in this. And that's a big thing that we want to see as well. And I feel like a lot of people miss that. They just say, hey, I'm this, and then just kind of submit anything, like, okay, well, I need the money for this. But it's like, hold on, wait, where's the storyline? And so, yeah, I would love to open it up to other panelists just about the process of applying and how you went about kind of making yourself stand out.
I can go this time around. It wasn't my first time applying to a scholarship. The first time I applied, I feel like I didn't have a plan. I kind of just threw my application in there and I didn't get it. So the first time I did not get it. The second time around, I was like, okay, I need to come up with a plan, like actually know each part of the process of how I'm gonna create this comic book. So what I applied with was Fair Fight Comics as my comic book company. I applied with my first comic book, Fair Fight Volume 1. So I was in the beginning stages when I first applied to the first one, so I didn't really know the steps of how to create a comic book and where the money goes to and where, how to budget it. So the second time around, I had the budget, the, outcome of where the money is going and how much is being spent here, there, So I had a real plan of how I was going to spend the money. And I feel like that really helped me kind of excel to a different level.
No,
So
I totally agree with that. Just from a judging perspective, you had one of my old writers. Oh my gosh, she was crazy about your comic book. But what was different about yours is you actually had something to show. And so that's something that stands out as well. If you already are working on something, or you already have this idea and you already have like a solid plan for it, showing us and walking us through that plan in a creative way is a really instrumental way of how you're going to specifically get the creative scholarship. We're going to get into the student scholarship soon with Hannah. But with the creative one, listen to the word creative. A lot of people, we say, hey, submit a creative way of why you're applying for this. That could be a video. So Hakeem Collins submitted I think like a 3-minute video, and it had all his different samples, his reels, and it was very emotional. You could submit a comic book, and you had a proposal. Like it was all these different things that were very creative. And so sometimes people just submit an essay, but it's like that's more so for a student. So if you're submitting money and you want to show your creativeness, this is the time to do it. So like if you're a comic book, show one of your illustrations. If you're a videographer, create a video saying why you're applying, and don't just sit in front of the camera. Do some cool stuff. Show some reels in there. Show us what you can do. We want to support, the creatives. So I appreciate you all for applying. Now, Hannah Wilson, I want to get into, the student scholarship. It's very important to support the creatives, but as always, there are a lot of people going to college. And so people need funding for college, but you don't necessarily have to use the money for college, even if you apply for the student. But I would love to hear about, this is when we had it open to all of Wisconsin. As of right now, you can only apply for a student if you go to Milwaukee Public Schools. So the first year we did have it open to all of Wisconsin. Maybe in the future we will for students. But if you're creative in Wisconsin, you can apply. But for students only, you have to attend NPS. But at the year Hannah applied, she fit the requirements. But yeah, so how did you go about applying, and what did you think about the process?
When I applied, I was pretty young and I didn't really understand really what a lot of scholarships wanted from me. But I felt like your process really made me think more personally about why I wanted to go to school and why I wanted to be in what I wanted to be in. Because up to that point, I was kind of just going with the flow of everything, especially when it came to scholarships. So I think one of the prompts was like talking about like the personal reasons that you wanted to go to school or that you wanted to be in your major. And that made me like open up and really dig down into childhood and all of that stuff and really examine why I wanted the scholarship and why I wanted to go to college. So I really like that part of the process.
Oh, I love to hear it. That is another major thing when it comes to this the student part of the scholarship, is that we want to know about you. Yes, I was never a 4.0 student, so sometimes we do pick a 4.0 student, but it's more so who tells us most about them and why getting this money actually matters. Like, no, it's not because I just want to just go to school. It's because like I've always had this dream of working, being in dirt and rocks and soil. I remember your essay. Um, and so, I felt like I told you that and when you came to the in-person ceremony, I felt like I knew you. And that was cool to be able to read something and feel like you know someone. And I'm a big reader, so I love that part. So if you're a student, you gotta come with the writing. That's just one thing for students. Creative, you could be a little bit more creative, but I'm very stagnant on like the student scholarship. So if I say so this year is a two-page double, it was it double space 2-page paper, 12-point font. Like I'm very specific. So those things matter as a point of why I do that. So it's easier for the judges to read. But anytime you're applying for anything, and specifically when you're asking for funding, if the question says it and is saying it in a certain way, please make sure that you read it and you understand it, because that person who made this application made it that way. And so if it says submit 3 samples of work, submit 3 samples of work. There are people who literally submitted 2, but what they wanted the money for was great. But then we have someone else who submitted 3 of them, and their creative was great too. We have to give it to the person who did all of the requirements. But if that other person would have did all 3, maybe they would have got the money. And so that's kind of how it works. We have to go through guidelines. And so we make the application a certain way. But like you said, Hannah, we want to know who you are, whether you're applying for a student or a creative. I really want to know, and not just me, but the other judges, who are you? Honestly, why should we care? There are a lot of people who want money. So how is this money going to help you? So I love to get into that conversation of, can you say what year you won the money? And then what you use the money for? And then on top of that, honestly, how has that impacted you to where you are now? Anybody?
Oh, I can start off again. I kind of already mentioned what I used the money for. Used it for computer parts and to really like max out my computer and do what I can do what I wanted to do creatively. And how it impacted me now is it really led me into my job now. So it's like I got a chance to actually play with graphics, play with some animation, and really understand that side of the creative. And I got a chance to working for a marketing agency, really being a producer and help pulling together people that can do this and managing projects like that. Because I really had the opportunity to learn and experience all of those parts. So I feel like it not only helped me in my personal life, but it helped me with my career as well and continue to push forward, and it helped me elevate to new levels.
I really appreciate y'all for applying though. Like everybody that like applies and wins, I just be like, thank y'all, because like it's just so cool. I love like helping people, and y'all help me. Like it makes me feel better because I feel like I don't do nothing. So like when I hear from y'all, and I be like, dang, that is so, y'all are dope. So I really appreciate y'all. But I would love to hear from Tyree and Hannah just what year did you win, how much, and then how, if the scholarship has impacted you.
I won in 2020. I believe that was the year I won. It really helped me kind of get the ball rolling on my comic book and understand that it was a real tangible thing that I could, fulfill and kind of keep pushing it forward. What I used it on, I used it mostly on marketing materials and kind of getting the finishing touches done on the book. And then it kind of helped me launch my animation, which we ended up finishing in March of 2021. We're still kind of working on putting the finishing touches on that. It kind of, like I said, it got the ball rolling, and I'm still, putting time and effort into these comic books and kind of, seeing where it takes me. So
Okay.
that's how
We love the comic books over here, and we always support, and we get to sponsor some. So whenever, and this is for any of the scholarship recipients, future, past, whatever. Whenever y'all have something, make sure to reach back out to Carving Stone. We're always a resource. So if you like, I'm working on this new comic book, but I kind of want American Family Insurance, to see it. Let us connect you. They want to be connected with you all because they're our sponsors, so they're your sponsors. So don't ever be afraid to be like, hey, I met this one person through you, but I haven't heard from them. Contact Carving Stone. We can follow up with them and make sure that they connect with you. There's still funding out there. There's still resources out there. Like just because you got the money back then, we can still help you, for your future endeavors. But so Hannah, so yours a little different because you use yours for school, correct? I don't know if I was your only scholarship or whatever, or Carving Stone. I hope not, for sure, hope not. But how did the scholarship impact you?
I won in 2019, which was also the first year that I started college. And for me, I did really use the money because $1,000 is a lot of money. But for me, it was more like a confidence thing because, like I said before, I hadn't applied to a ton of scholarships before, or maybe I did and I just didn't win a lot of them before. But after that, I really kind of honed into the process more and really examined myself and why I wanted to go. And that helped me not only monetarily, but then also in the future of public speaking and getting more scholarships and all that stuff. So
Y'all make me happy, like for real. Like this, I know I keep saying that, but like for real, like y'all really, really dope, and we all young, and so like I just I hope somebody watching this will see, like, give the people, especially in Wisconsin, like, give us a chance. And especially the young people, because I feel like a lot of times you need 17 years of experience just for somebody to let you in that door. And so hopefully through the scholarship that, you all know that y'all worthy exactly where y'all are. And sometimes it may take trying applying for something again, or reevaluating yourself, or just rethinking something, or waiting on to release a film, or whatever it may be. Just know you're already at it. It just take time. And so I appreciate that. We're gonna be wrapping up soon. Don't want to take up too much of your time. But honestly, be transparent, like, for real, honestly, like, why should people apply for the scholarship? And honestly, why?
I can start this time because I've gone last every other time. Um, but I would say definitely apply. Um, Even if you don't end up getting it, and honestly, you probably have a good shot at getting it. But even if you don't, it's good practice, good for, like I said, your confidence. And I mean, worst case scenario, you don't get it, but best case scenario, you get $1,000 and that, or 3,000 this year, right?
Yep.
It's a lot of money and it helps you out in a lot of different ways.
Thank you, Hannah.
I can follow up on that. I would definitely recommend applying. Um, I feel like besides winning the money and able to like do things with the money, I feel like one of the biggest parts of applying is really help organize my ideas and really plan out like what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go. Um, and as a creative, I feel like oftentimes we don't get a chance to really do that. We're focused on creating and not really having that larger, long-term plan. So, I mean, it's something that's important to do. And then also making sure everything's organized, submitting everything that Carving Stone asked of you. I don't know, I feel like it helps you down the line. And then as a creative, there's other opportunities to apply for other things. And there's people going to ask you about, like, what do you do? What's your work? And already having that stuff already like right in front of you. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've used some of the stuff that I've submitted for this application for other things to just show people what I'm doing, or even just recruit other people. So I would definitely recommend it. And my advice would just to become organized and really, really think about your application before submitting it.
Thank you, Michael.
Cool. Yeah, like I said before, I really do recommend it, because even if you don't get it, which I did not get it the first time I applied, it kind of set me in my place to be like, okay, the next time I apply, I'm going to do better. I'm going to be more organized and more, I'm going to plan it out more, so that there's no reason for me not to get it. And even if you don't get it, it'll just, teach you a lesson on how to organize your thoughts and your plans and where you want to be in your life. So either way, if you don't get it or you do get it and you win $3,000, which is amazing, you will, push yourself to organize where you want to be with that project or in your life. Yeah.
Y'all heard from 3 different recipients. We have 9 altogether so far about, why they apply and how they're being impactful. And even years later, we still reaching out to them. We still need y'all. We still want to give y'all a spotlight. Like, this not the end. So, like, like in the end, everything be carved in stone, but we're going to keep this thing going. So before we log off, just a couple key things. So the scholarship ends on September 30th at 11:59 p.m. Central Time. Go to carvingstone.com to apply for the scholarship. We're awarding $3,000 and laptops to each winner. 2 will go to creatives. 1 will go to an NPS high school senior. Key things to really apply to make yourself stand out: say what you do and have stuff to back that up. So if you're a videographer, if you're a journalist, if you're a musician, submit samples of your music. Submit your CDs, submit things. Don't just, honestly, please do not submit a screenshot of an Instagram post or any that does not show us anything. Is that worth $3,000 in your opinion? Really honestly sit back and think that. What you're submitting, do you believe that that's worth the money that we're giving to you? If you say yes, then go for it. But if you really sit back and have to question it, then maybe you should kind of sit back and rethink. And with this scholarship, you're able to use the money for whatever. So if you want to use it for tuition, go ahead. If you need to pay rent, Sure, but you need to prove to us, why are you using this for rent? Anything that you're using this money for, it should impact you in some way, professionally, personally, whatever you're doing in life. This money should impact you. We're just not giving away money just to help, just to get you to the next day. We really want to push you to future, like 10 years, 15 years. So I appreciate all of you, Hannah, Tyree, and Michael. Please always reach out to us. And y'all know, in the end, everything we carve in stone. I appreciate y'all, and good luck to everybody that apply. All right, see y'all. In the end, everything will be carved in stone.